Welcome to the channel. In this video, I want to take you through about a month of sales on COMC, look at some of the statistics of how I'm doing as far as like flipping cards on the platform, sending cards in from off the platform, but then also to kind of consider some specific strategies based on some of these sales and kind of see what I'm doing, because I think there's a few different strategies that are working better for me. So I'm going to highlight some of those as I look through 1 month worth of stats. So let's get into this. It's a pretty similar month to any other month. So the specific cards of this month, of course, are going to be different than other months, but the amount and the numbers all kind of are very similar, I would suggest. So also, I should just mention the types of cards that I tend to be selling on COMC are generally a little bit lower end stuff. I mean, if I'm flipping a card on the platform, it might be anything, whatever I just find that seems to be a good deal, I'll buy it and try to flip it. But if I'm sending things in from off the platform, now I'm sending things that are really worth at least $3. It used to be different though. When I first started COMC, I was sending in a lot more stuff. So you'll see some of my older sales, like cards that I sent in from a long time ago that never sold. Sometimes they'll sell for really, really cheap because, the change in the market so much over the time that I've sent in some of the cards, and some of the lower end cards that have too many on the platform just didn't sell for a really long time. And maybe some of them sold now for 50 cents and I just got back my initial fee or something. So you'll see things like that in there as well. But I'm going to give you the overall numbers. In this 1 month period of time on COMC, I had sold a total of 234 cards. Of those 234 cards, 177 of them are platform flips. So that means I bought it on the platform, I sold it on the platform. Another 57 of these cards are cards that I sent in from off the platform. I should mention, the flip number maybe stays somewhat similar. I mean, it might fluctuate depending on how much time I spend or how many like live auctions I'm gonna try, or if they have a special promotion for some auction thing that I might try. Like I've talked before about how some of those auctions you have to be very careful about. We'll look at that as a strategy a little bit later, but you do have to be a little bit careful. And then the off-platform sales fluctuate a lot depending on how recently it is I've sent in cards. I haven't sent in any cards to the platform for quite a while. I have a batch that I'm getting ready to send in relatively soon, but I haven't sent any in for quite a while. So that's probably why, a little bit less. 57 of the cards that sold were from off-platform sales, and a lot of those were ones that were a little bit like stale inventory that finally eventually sold. So let's look first at the 177 cards that are COMC flips. So of these 177 cards, 37 of these I actually flipped for a loss. Now, usually if I flipped it for a loss, it's specifically because I put it up for auction. I thought I was going to get more than the amount I paid for, so I put it up either for a 7-day auction. COMC, you can put up 7-day auctions on eBay, or I put it up for a live auction. COMC has a live auction platform on eBay, and they have a daily thing there. So on Fridays, you can upload cards to be on their live auctions. I've talked about that a number of different times. I have mixed feelings about it. Sometimes it does great for me. Sometimes it does terrible for me. It's really hard to estimate. I don't know if it's necessarily something I suggest to other people. Like I've learned a lot, and I'm committed to kind of, trying to continue things based on my learning there. But ultimately, I think I'm probably closer to like evening out than making a profit in there as I kind of learn it. But anyway, so those 37 losses, it's usually because of that. And then 140 of the cards that I flipped for a profit. In total on these 177 cards, I had spent $1,352 of COMC credit. There's a difference between of COMC credit or of cash, because most of the COMC credit is from other sales. So if you were to take that as cash, you'd have to give 10% to COMC as a cash out fee. If you keep it as COMC credit, you don't have to pay that. So that's one of the reasons I do keep a decent amount of COMC credit on hand to be able to flip cards without having to pay that fee. So I had spent $1,352 on these cards, and I flipped them and sold them for a total of $2,020 in COMC credit. So again, keep in mind, if I wanted to turn that into cash, they'd take 10% out, or in this case, about $200. So it would actually be $1,800 in actual cash if I wanted to have it in cash. And I have been taking out a certain amount of cash each month or so, but I always try to keep myself with at least $1,000 in COMC credit just to be able to do other things with it. Luckily, I have been able to go through a process. This month right here, I haven't given myself cash, but every other month for the past 6 or 7 months, I've been giving myself $1,000 in COMC credit turning it into $900 in cash and cashing it out into my bank account. I've done that for, I don't know, 7 or 8 months in a row. This month I did it because I was buying. You can see here I have 450 cards ready to ship. I've been buying quite a few things to send back to myself for a couple different reasons. You know, you'll see later I'm going to make some videos. I'm going to be trying, once I have a good space set up, to have a series of some different whatnot auctions of lower end cards. So I'm trying to get together a little batch of cards that I think would do well in that kind of situation. I'll eventually make a video about that, but I don't have much to share about it yet until I have that experience. So anyway, so this means that in this month, I made about $668 in COMC credit as profit on these 177 COMC flips. So this is quite good. You know, I like doing these math because sometimes I don't do all of the detailed math of profits for some of these. So whenever I do, though, it seems like it's working pretty well. I don't do it every single time because it's just the amount of time it takes is significant. But when I do it, I always notice a pretty consistent amount of profit, like the percentages and the ROIs. And then there always is like some learning that I get from these explorations as well, which is helpful. All right, so next I want to look at the top 10 most profitable cards that I flipped this month and kind of talk through like the strategy behind some of these, because I think there are some things in here that give a little bit of an idea as to why certain things are working. I'm not focusing so much on the things that aren't working because I'm trying to build from the things that are working. So let's look at the top 10 most profitable flips on the platform this month. The 1976 Topps Dennis Eckersley rookie, which I had bought on the platform. Now I'm including, when I say these numbers, I'm including any fees that I paid for buying and any fees that I paid for selling. So, you know, it's $6.30 I bought this for, but that includes the $2 fee I paid to put this up on live auction. So I actually bought it for $4.30, paid $2 to put it on live auction, and then I get $22.04 back after my fees. So I make a $15.75 profit on this one. So this is I'm not going to say that for every card, but it's always the same. The price that I'm saying is including all of the fees, and the price that I'm saying that I get back is also including all the fees. So the profit is all based in COMC credit. But again, like I said before, if I wanted to turn that credit into cash, it would be 10% less than that. So just keep that in mind as I go through. This is a live auction. Live auctions on COMC are really, really hit or miss. I've learned a little bit over time as far as what cards tend to do better on a live auction, but you can never know. The expectation, it's impossible to have expectations because the audience on each stream is significantly different. If it's a Monday morning, or if it's a Friday evening, or if it's a Wednesday afternoon, like there's a totally different number of people, a totally different type of audience, a totally different collector base, and you can never know when your card is going to be released. You might end up being on Monday morning, you might end up being on Thursday evening, you don't know, so it's really hard to plan. So it's really, really hit or miss. So this is why it's difficult for me to say whether I would suggest this as an actual approach to trying, as an actual strategy to trying to make money on COMC as a live auctions. I do them quite a lot, but it's because I've been learning so much. I've spent a lot of time in the first couple months when the COMC live auction started. I made a ton of money. I was doing extremely well. The prices were crazy. It calmed down like insane to such a point where nothing was selling for more like 99 cents or $2. Even cards that should go more, it went to that extreme. And now it's like, it seems like it's figuring out some middle ground. There still are a handful of cards that just pop off. And a lot of times the profitable cards you'll see on this top 10 list here are those ones that just, for whatever reason, they happen to pop off. So that was kind of what happened with this Dennis Eckersley rookie. It's, you know, a Hall of Famer. I'm pretty sure he's a Hall of Famer, right? And it's a well-known, well-recognized player. It's his rookie card. So I think it's just one of those cards that people didn't quite know what to make of it as far as how much to expect to have to pay for this sort of thing. And so the price ended up going for higher than what people would have had to pay for it if they had looked for it elsewhere. So this happens sometimes. All right, this next one is a 93-94 Stadium Club Beam Team Michael Jordan, which I had bought for $71.07 and sold for $87.13. And I sold this one through a regular auction. I had actually bought this because it was really inexpensive. It seemed abnormally inexpensive. So I kind of felt like this is the type of card that will do fine in a regular auction. It's a well-sought card. It's Michael Jordan. It's not going to fall through the cracks. I felt a little safer. This is something about a strategy. If you are going to put cards up for 7-day auctions on eBay through COMC, only do it for cards that really have very little chance of falling through the cracks. Most cards will probably fall through the cracks. COMC is such a large scale consigner that a lot of their cards will fall through the cracks on eBay auctions. So you have to be really careful. Don't just try to offload inventory. And I have this problem a lot, especially when they have their no minimum auction fee event, which has kind of been going on for kind of a while at this point. And you only have to pay 99 cents to put a card onto eBay, and then there's no minimum that they take away. They'll just take away the transaction fee. It's very limited. So I've been selling some cards on there that maybe are not the best idea to, and sometimes I haven't been making money on it because I don't follow my own advice sometimes, and I just like having moving inventory. So if things feel like they're getting stale, sometimes I'll sell cards in a situation like that, and I don't always make money on it. But a card like this one, this Michael Jordan Beam Team, will not fall through the cracks. So it did okay, and it brought me $16.06 profit. The next one here is a 1951 Bowman Hank Arf. This is just a common card, but it's from 1951 Bowman, which is a very iconic set. So I decided to try to buy it and sell it on one of the live auctions just to see if, the iconic nature of this set might do well. And this one did. I bought $4.49 all in, including the fees, including that $2 fee to put it onto a live auction, and I made $21.04. So a $16.55 profit from this common card, really. And here's another one. This is the 1994 Collector's Choice promotional card of Ken Griffey Jr., which I had $2.40 into total, and I got $20.04 from for a $17.64 profit. So again, this is another one I decided to give it a try because it was kind of unique. I didn't know what would happen. I was just like, let's see what happens for this on live auction. I literally bought it for like 40 cents and then put it up, and boom, there we go. It sells for $20. You can't expect this, though. I would not suggest you go in and try to do this exact same card and do this exact same thing. 95% chance it won't work. Just every once in a while, something like this just happens. I don't understand it fully. The next one here is the 2023 Topps X Bob Ross, The Joy of Baseball easel canvas of Josh Jung. It's a rookie. This one I bought for, including the fees of putting it to the live auction, $10.25, and I got $30.04. This is one that I thought would do well on live auction because the kind of card that does well on live auction oftentimes needs to be aesthetically pleasing, aesthetically unique. It looks like a kind of card that somebody is going to want, that if they don't quite know the value, if they don't have a sense in their mind of what the comp is, that this one could be overpaid for. So that's really what live auction is. It's just, getting cards in there that you think will like get into people's mind as like a good card to get, which is weird. Again, every time I say it out loud, I feel like it's like the live auction is like trying to profit off of FOMO, really, off of a fear of missing out, thinking that this card is something more than it is. So I kind of feel bad about it when I think about it that way, whenever I say it out loud. And a lot of these are these live auctions. This next one is a 96-97 Skybox Z-Force Kobe Bryant rookie. So again, I thought this would be one that would probably do well in a live auction. It's a Kobe rookie, which is, going to be a card that people are going to want. Plus the Z-Force cards just generally seem to do better in live auctions because they look cool. So this one I had bought all in for $20, sold for $42.04 for a $22.04 profit. This one was a unique one. This is a Steph Curry rookie, the Upper Deck First Edition Steph Curry rookie, which I had actually bought raw for $94, and then I sent it to grading via the COMC platform for $22. Now, this is risky if you haven't seen the card in person to send it to grade through the COMC platform. You do have the option of spending $5 to get them to kind of pre-look at it, which might prevent any of the really bad ones, like the PSA 5s and 6s, the ones that have like creases that you might not see. It might prevent that sort of thing. But in my experience with the pre-look that they have for $5, it's generally not worth it. I've used it several times. When I haven't used it, there's been a couple times that it told me I shouldn't send it in, and I send it in anyway, and it came back with a PSA 10. And then there's been other times where it told me I should send it in, which means that they think it's a minimum PSA 9, and then it comes back with a PSA 7 or 8. So in my experience, the kind of pre-look that you're spending $5 for in COMC hasn't really been very helpful. I do have a feeling it would prevent, if there's something super obvious on the card that you can't see in the scan very well, a very, deep scratch or something like that just doesn't come out in the scan, it probably would prevent you from sending those kinds of cards into grade. So there have been some cards that I've sent off that I have got back PSA 6, and I don't know why. But it's a risk if you're going to send off a card to get graded. This one came back. I went ahead and paid the $22 grading fee because I was like, okay, even if it gets kind of a low grade, it's a Steph Curry rookie. So I thought it was just worth sending in for grading anyway. So I sent it in. I got a PSA 8, and then I sold it, and it sold just sold for a regular buy it now. It sold for $141.55. So all in all, this brought me back a $25.50 profit. All right, this next one, this is the 1969-70 Topps Elgin Baylor rookie, one of these tall boys. These are very cool. So this one I had bought for a good deal. It just, I just noticed every once in a while, if you keep an eye on what's in COMC and you're just looking for things, you find a good deal. This is $25. I was like, okay, this is, a Hall of Fame rookie card, iconic set, same rookie set as the Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar rookie. So I sold this, I bought this one for $25, and just 8 days later, this one sold just as a buy it now, and I got $54.87. So I made $29.87 profit on this one in COMC credit. The next one here is the 1998 Upper Deck Gatorade Almost Heaven Michael Jordan, which another one I bought thinking, oh, maybe this one will do pretty well on live auction. Let me give it a try. So I had $6.50 into this one. Total ended up selling it for $40.04 for a $33.54 profit. And then the number one here was a 2007-8 Topps Finest Kevin Durant rookie. This was a really good one. I had purchased this one raw for $37 on the platform directly. I sent it in to get graded, supposed to pay the $22 grading fee. It came back as a PSA 10, which again is great. It's hard to be, planning for that when you can't. I'd never have seen this card in person. So then after that, it ended up selling as a buy it now for $175.45 profit for me. So I made, that's how much the revenue was. So it came back with $116.45 profit. And that was my number one best flip of the month. So those are the 177 COMC flips. Next, let's take a look at the 57 cards that I had sent in from off the platform. Of those ones, 39 of them, I don't want to spend much time on. These are 39 cards that sold for $3 or less. So this tends to mean these were cards that were just sitting on the platform for a long time, and just gradually I kept lowering the price until they sold. I think when I first was getting into COMC early on, and just in general, when I was first trying to make a profit from sports cards, I was doing a lot of like these penny flips, trying to buy like really low end things and flip them and make like, 25-cent profit here, 50-cent profit there. I've changed my approach now. I'm not going for bulk inventory as much as kind of more aimed inventory now. So rather than trying to send in, 300, 400, 500 cards and hope to make like a dollar profit on each, I'm more maybe sending in 100 cards and hoping to make a $20 profit on each. It's more that type of scale now that I'm working at. So that tends to be like slightly higher end inventory now than I did before. So these lower end cards, these 39, are examples of cards that maybe they've been sitting on the platform for 2 years. It's very, very possible. I know that a number of these cards are, maybe like cards that when Josh Giddey was a rookie, it was like some hollow from Hoops of like a parallel that at the time that I sent it in, I thought maybe it could sell for $2 or $3. Now I'm lucky if I'm getting my 50 cents back, that sort of thing. So, some of these 39 cards are going to be that. I don't even want to spend too much time focusing on these 39 cards because I'm not learning anything from those anymore. I've kind of realized to just keep away from those things. There's another 10 of these 57 cards that sold somewhere in the range of $3 to $7. Which again, if it sells in the range of $3 to $7 at this point, it usually means it was a card that was kind of almost a leftover. I had bought larger lots of things, and then maybe there was a couple of extra cards on top of that I would send in and then sell for $3 to $7. Usually those are the kinds of cards I have very, very little money in on at this point, or it's a card from 2 years ago that's just come down in price. I don't want to spend too much on those because they're all also kind of older submissions, so I'm not learning too much from my older submissions at this point. But that leaves 8 cards left on from these, and these 8 cards are the ones that maybe have a little bit more learning related to them, and these ones all had a profit somewhere between $12 up to $77.75. Let's take a look at these 8 cards. So on these 8 cards combined, I had spent about $80 total on them, and then I sold them for a combined total of about $188.15 in COM credit. Of these 8 cards, one of them lost me money in a live auction. As I've said, live auctions are really hit or miss. You never know what's going to happen. Another one had broke even. This was also a live auction. and the other 6 had all brought me profit, and these 6 are actually all buy it nows. A lot of times the ones I'm sending into the platform are going to be buy it nows most frequently. The live auction ones are oftentimes ones that I'm flipping on the platform because I think there's an opportunity. If I've sent it into the platform from off platform, usually my plan is just to let it sit there until it eventually sells so I don't have to do any work in the meantime. And that's what happened with these 6 ones that did make me a profit. So these 6 included 2015-16 Panini International High Flyers of Kobe Bryant, which I had bought for $5, including the submission fee to get it into the platform. Sold it for $11.40 after the fees. So I got $6.40 in profit. Again, this is in COMC credit, not in actual cash. The next one is the 2017-18 Panini Noir Rookie Koji Anunoby. This one I had bought $6. I had $6 in on it total. Sold it for $14.01 for an $8.01 profit. This next one is the 2003 for Fleer Tradition Playground Rules LeBron James rookie. I broke even on this one, bought and sold both for about 15 bucks. This was a live auction. I just thought it would do better than that at a live auction. It didn't sell well at all, so sometimes it happens. The next one is the 2018-19 Panini Status Legendary Signatures. So $6 I had in on this one, and then I got $15.91 back from it, so $9.91 profit. The next one here is the 21-22 Panini Contenders Optic Asia Blue Rookie of Evan Mobley. So this one I got for a loss. Actually, I had $25 in on this one. It sold for $18.50 in a live auction. In retrospect, this probably isn't the best kind of card to send in a live auction. Evan Mobley cards, he has a collector base, but it's not a wide collector base, and this is one of many, many parallels, so it doesn't stand out, even though it's numbered. I believe this is numbered to 49. I don't have that in my notes here, but I believe it's numbered to 49, but it's the kind of card that can fall through the cracks, and in this example, it did. The next one here is a 2013-14 Court King Steven Adams rookie, numbered out of 225. This one I had only $2 into, and it sold and brought me back $18.76, so I had a $16.76 profit on that one. Very nice. The next one here is the 21-22 Noir Evan Mobley rookie, numbered out of 99. This one I only had $6 into, and I got $20.66 back for a $14.66 profit. And then the one off-platform flip that did me the best is the 2018-19 Court Kings Rookies 2 from the international set of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. This one I only had $10 into. You know, every once in a while there's cards like this that might sell. I buy a lot of my cards that I send in from off-platform from Card Hobby, which is kind of like the domestic Chinese sports card market. And these international sets are ones that are more rare in the West, but in China, they're like the main thing that people have access to or easier access to. So the price of those ones can sometimes be a little bit less on the Chinese domestic market. So I got a really good deal on this one, sent this into COMC, and I got $73.86 back. So it had a profit of $63.86. So anyway, this video is quite long. I hope this is useful. I mean, I think, you know, now that I'm going through and showing you these numbers, I think maybe I'm going to make another video at some point to look a little bit more at the pros and cons of some of the strategies that I kind of alluded to in this one, because I think maybe it's a little bit better if I make a video that goes through the different strategies with a little bit more like, here's the pros, here's the cons. So maybe I'll make a video about that coming up here soon when I have some time. In the meantime, I hope this was a useful video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.